The two principles of Dragon Ball. What are the two principles of Dragon Ball? The first principle of Dragon Ball is that the good guys always win. That is the first principle. The second principle that people hate, but is what makes Dragon Ball great, is that the new villain is always stronger than the previous villain. So the principle of Dragon Ball states that the good guys always win, and that the new villain has to be stronger than the previous villain. If you don't do that, Dragon Ball doesn't work. You break the story. And I think that there is no better example of that than the Black Goku arc. I think that is the biggest problem with the Black Goku arc. The Black Goku arc breaks that formula. And that is why you cannot. That is why the arc doesn't work. Because you break the formula. They work for many years. What makes Dragon Ball famous. Yeah, I said it. And this might be a hot take, but I think it's true. But forgot the most important principle of storytelling. And that principle is that the story matters. Everything that your characters do have consequences. If your character doesn't have consequences for the actions, the story doesn't matter anymore. And I think Dragon Ball forgot about that. I think Dragon Ball did. C did pretty good with that. That's why Toriyama was forced to kill Piccolo at the beginning of the C of Dragon Ball Z, because he needed to bring consequences to the story, and the other way to do that was killing Piccolo. And then you have the Cell Saga. What again, Toriyama brings seriousness to the story through Piccolo and Kami merging together. That was the way that Toriyama brought seriousness, to the story, because he again removed the Dragon Balls. Because the Dragon Balls, I like the Dragon Balls, but they are the worst thing that happened to Dragon Ball, because they took every ounce of seriousness from the series. Because now everything you can fix from the Dragon Balls, but still you can work around that like Toriyama did during the C era. But Super wasn't trying. And that is why Super doesn't work. Super doesn't try. No, Kidu do not break the principles, because at the time that Kidu was around, Gohan Gotenks were dead. So Vegeta and Goku were the only ones alive and that were capable of stopping Kidu. So he doesn't really break the principles in any way, because one of the principles is that the villain needs to be in a level of power in which the hero can stop him. So Goku and Vegeta were the right opponents for Kidu. That was why Toriyama never brought Gohan to the world of the guys, because that would have broken the principles, and we needed Goku at that time to defeat Kidu. So no, the principles were not broken that time. There are rumors, but I don't think that is necessarily true. I think that is misinformation that has been in the internet for the longest time. But there is no indication that is true. People also say about the Namekiar, but there is no real indication that Toriyama wanted in the series as the dynamic are. I know that it seems like it, but we fans might want it to be that to be the case, but I don't think that was necessarily what Toriyama wants. So I really believe that it's just misinformation that some people have it spread online about the series, because I don't know if Toriyama really was, if he really cared that much about what the fans had to say in Japan. But if you guys have a different opinion than me, please let me know in the comments. I really want for us to have a dialogue about Dragon Ball. The problem with modern Dragon Ball is that modern Dragon Ball is all about fan service, but modern Dragon Ball has forgot about the principles of storytelling. Like the Dragon Ball doesn't care anymore about telling an amazing story like Toriyama did. Toriyama was focusing on, teaching you lessons to Dragon Ball. You learn a lot of lessons watching Dragon Ball. People think that Dragon Ball is all about fighting, but that is not what Dragon Ball is about. Dragon Ball is about teaching you to never give up and to always trying to be the best version of yourself. That's why Goku always keeps training. But modern Dragon Ball forgot about that. Modern Dragon Ball is only about fan service and in sell toys and video games, and it's not long. In Dragon Ball, it's no longer about teaching you lessons or even keeping you entertained. Dragon Ball is just about a big commercial so they can sell you on the next toy figure or the next video game. And that is the problem with modern Dragon Ball, in my opinion.